Greetings and salutations, ladies and gentlemen. I am SquishyTheTitan, and welcome to TRIHAYWBFRFYH. I am totally not kidding. I sounded it out. That, I think, is what the title is. Anyway, it's a game that I got on Game Jolt. I don't know if it's supposed to be a horror game, but it is supposed to be, spooky and very atmospheric, so I did kind of want to play... No. I'm talking. Don't interrupt me. But what did I just say? Anyway, basically it was very, very highly reviewed, and I just kind of wanted to play it. So, break it away from horror games a little bit. So let's just go into it. I guess we gotta click the rapture is here, and you will be forcibly removed from your home. Okay. Let's just get into that. Alright. So it's just standard. Whoa. Alright, let's just head towards that big pillar of thing. Let's do that first. So all of the reviews said that this was really atmospheric, great sound design, and you know, that it was a must play, so I don't know, there wasn't too much of a, you know, direction, like what you're supposed to do. All you know is that the world is ending in 20 minutes, I guess, and it's the rapture, or something. So let's just kind of walk—
natural leadership, which with my uncle procured the instruments from the laboratories of Brown University and the Cranston Street Armory, and instinctively assumed direction of our venture, was a marvelous commentary on the potential vitality and resilience of a man of 81. Elihu Whipple had lived according to the hygienic laws he had preached as a physician, and but for what happened later, would be here in full vigor today.
Okay. So, I guess that's how we're gonna sort of get the, story element. There's blue over there, but there's a house over here, so house wins. Actually, no. I'm gonna go check over this blue one. This is making my, this is giving me kind of a low frame rate. I'm used to, like, 60 frames in, like, everything. And, but it is kind of giving me— oh, they're all different colors. That one's yellow, that one's blue, that one's white, I believe. Alright, so let's check out the yellow one first. Or the other yellow one. But, so far, this is really well designed for a minimalistic game. I mean, the grass particles, like, you could tell that it took a while to animate all this grass. I mean, it's giving me pretty low frame rates. I think I've got about, like, 20 to 30. I'm used to, like, 60 and everything, but, like, all of these, just so many particles that have been animated, and I really appreciate it.
What I heard in my youth about the shunned house was merely that people died there in alarmingly great numbers. That, I was told, was why the original owners had moved out some 20 years after building the place. It was plainly unhealthy, perhaps because of the dampness and fungus growth in the cellar, the general sickish smell, the drafts of the hallway, or the quality of the well and pump water.
Huh. Alright, so it doesn't look like I'm gonna be going in there, but let's just head right back. There's another yellow one. I want to figure out what the white one and the blue one, and there's another red one over there. Is it just you have to, like, grab all of the same color or something? I'm not too sure, but so far I really enjoy the design of this game, the sound of this game, and...
In short, it seemed to my uncle and me that an incontrovertible array of facts pointed to some lingering influence in the shunned house, traceable to one or another of the ill-favored French settlers of 2 centuries before, and still operative through rare and unknown laws of atomic and electronic motion. That the family had possessed an abnormal affinity for outer circles of entity, dark spheres which for normal folk held only repulsion and terror, their recorded history seemed to prove.
Is that a flying flying saucer or something? Is this like aliens? But yeah, there's a red one off in the distance. I really do like this sound design. I mean, normally I don't like minimalistic games like this, but I mean, there have been a couple that have just absolutely captivated me. Dear Esther for one of them. And then I get this one is just...
To declare that we were not nervous on that rainy night of watching would be an exaggeration both gross and ridiculous. We were not, as I've said, in any sense childishly superstitious, but scientific study and reflection had taught us that the known universe of 3 dimensions embraces the merest fraction of the whole cosmos of substance and energy. In this case, an overwhelming preponderance of evidence from numerous authentic sources pointed to the tenacious existence of certain forces of great power, and so far as the human point of view is concerned, exceptional malignancy.
Oh my. Okay. Were those pillars here before? I don't think they were.
Such a thing was
But then again, we all know I'm an idiot.
Biochemical impossibility in the light of newer science, which includes the theories of relativity and intraatomic action. One might easily imagine an alien nucleus of substance or energy, formless or otherwise, kept alive by imperceptible or immaterial subtractions from the life force or bodily tissues and fluids of other or more palpably living things into which it penetrates, and with whose fabric it sometimes completely merges itself. It might be actively hostile, or it might be dictated merely by blind motives of self-preservation.
What the hell was that?
In any case, such a monster must of necessity be in our scheme of things an anomaly, and an intruder whose extirpation forms a primary duty, with every man not an enemy to the world's life, health, and sanity.
So am I this intruder? Oh my god. So I think it is aliens, and this sound design is so awesome. If you have the choice, play this game and play it with like surround sound headphones. This is absolutely this is amazing sound design.
Was our utter ignorance of the aspect in which we might encounter the thing. No sane person had ever seen it, and few had ever felt it definitively. It might be pure energy, a form ethereal and outside the realm of substance. Or it might be partly material, some unknown and unequivocal mass of plasticity, capable of changing at will to nebulous approximations of the solid, liquid, gaseous, or tenuously unparticled states. The anthropomorphic patch of mold on the floor, the form of the yellowish vapor, and the curvature of the tree roots in some of the old tales all argued at least a remote and reminiscent connection with the human shape. But how representative or permanent that similarity might be, none could say with any kind of certainty.
I don't think I see any more things of yellow smoke. I'm gonna go check up again up here. But the, I don't know, I really like this. Like, it's hard, it's difficult to explain. Okay, those pillars are moving every time I hit one of those, because they were angled beforehand. And it said like the world ended in 20 minutes. I'm about 10 minutes in. So, I'm not, it's a very minimalist game. Very minimalist. I don't think there's much of a threat. There's just, you know, there's a very, very clear sort of objective, sort of, I guess. Whoa, what? Hey. What was that?
West of Arkham, the hills rise wild, and there are valleys with deep woods that no axe has ever cut. There are dark, narrow glens where the trees slope fantastically, and where thin brooklets trickle without ever having caught the glint of sunlight. On the gentler slopes there are farms, ancient and rocky, with squat, moss-coated cottages brooding eternally over old New England's secrets in the lee of great ledges. But these are vacant now, the wide chimneys crumbling and the shingled sides bulging perilously beneath low gambrel roofs. The old folk have gone away, and foreigners do not like to live here. French Canadians have tried it. Italians have tried it. The Poles have come and departed. It is not because of anything that can be seen or heard or handled, but because of something that is imagined. The place is not good for the imagination. It does not bring restful dreams at night. It must be this which keeps the foreigners away, for old Ammy Peace has never told them of anything he recalls from the strange days. When I went into the hills and vales to survey for the new reservoir, they told me the place was evil.
Alright, so that one went on quite a bit longer than any of the other dialogue things have. There's another red pillar of light coming out over here. I think I figured out that whenever you look at that flying saucer thing, that's when the big, you know, the obligatory Inception bois happen. I think the game is getting kind of angry that I'm, you know, just dicking around with it now. Alright, let's try and get to that pillar of light. That guy, the guy from, the red, he, oh, there's another yellow, I forgot about that. I'm gonna get the yellow first. Alright, I'm done playing around with that. Okay. Ugh. This is a lot of running, and normally that kind of annoys me, but I really like the design of this game, and, you know, taking in all of the sights actually is a pretty enjoyable experience in and of itself. Alright, we've got a wheat field now, where there is, holy crap, a lot of orange.
It was too that our venture was far from safe.
Oh, there's
in
another.
what strength the thing might appear, no one could tell. But we deemed the game worth the hazard and embarked on it alone and unhesitatingly, conscious that the seeking of outside aid would only expose us to ridicule and perhaps defeat our entire purpose. Such was our frame of mind as we talked far into the night, till my uncle's growing drowsiness made me remind him to lie down for his 2 hours' sleep.
Alright, I do not remember these pillars being here beforehand, but... okay, I'll accept it.
He had, he said, floated off from a very ordinary series of dream pictures into a scene whose strangeness was related to nothing he had ever read. It was of this world and yet not of it, a shadowy geometrical confusion in which could be seen elements of familiar things and most unfamiliar and perturbing combinations.
Alright, the next one's over here.
Clearly disordered pictures superimposed one upon another, an arrangement in which the essentials of time as well as of space dissolved and mixed in a most illogical fashion. In this kaleidoscopic vortex of phantasmal images, or occasional snapshots, if one might use the term, of singular clearness but unaccountable heterogeneity.
They're slowly getting more colored as I get close to them. I don't know how I feel about that. But I don't think I have time to run around them, so... Okay. So I'm not sure, like, what the objective to this game is, how to beat it, but, I think there are just a lot of these, like, pillars of light. If you grab all of them, maybe, I don't know. Try and gain as much of the story as possible.
Cosmic and abysmal aloneness, with hostility surging from all sides upon some prison where I lay confined. I seemed bound and gagged and taunted by the echoing yells of distant multitudes who thirsted for my blood. My uncle's face came to me with less pleasant associations than in waking hours, and I recall many futile struggles and attempts to scream. It was not a pleasant sleep, and for a second I was not sorry for the echoing shriek which clove through the barriers of dream and flung me to a sharp and startled awakeness, in which every actual object before my eyes stood out with more than natural clearness and reality.
So You know, I can't say enough, I actually really like this. It's very, very story-based, very much like Dear Esther. I love Dear Esther. And, so I'm just gonna try and keep this going until I have all of the yellow ones. This may be a longer video.
The anthropomorphic patch of mold by the fireplace of rose. A subtle, sickish, almost luminous vapor,
oh god, more.
which as it hung trembling in the dampness
These are just
seemed to develop vague and shocking suggestions of fall, gradually trailing off into nebulous decay and passing up into the blackness of the great chimney with a fader in its wake. It was truly horrible, and the more so to me because of what I know of the spot. Refusing to flee, I watched it fade, and as I watched, I felt that it was in turn watching me greedily with eyes more imaginable than visible.
The dialogue is a little bit difficult to hear. It's very, very, high, low end. So it kind of makes it, like, very bassy and kind of difficult to hear, but otherwise...
On my ears rang the reverberations of that shocking scream, while my nostrils revolted at the stench which filled the place. My mind, as alert as my sense, recognized the gravely unusual, and almost automatically I leapt up and turned about to grasp the destructive instruments which we had left trained on the moldy spot before the fireplace. As I turned, I dreaded what I was to see, for the scream had been in my uncle's voice, and I knew not what menace I should have to defend him and myself.
Alright. And that thing is getting much, much bigger. So I'm guessing as I draw nearer, I'm going to be taken. I have a feeling I'm going to be taken as if... I'm going to be taken like my dad's name was Liam Neeson. Bad reference? Bad? Bit of a stretch there? Nah, that's alright. You guys got it. God.
Yet after all, the sight was worse than I had dreaded. There are horrors beyond horrors, and this is one of those nuclei of dreamable hideousness which the cosmos saves to blast an accursed and unhappy few. Out of the fungus-ridden earth steamed up a vaporous corpse light, yellow and diseased, which bubbled and lapped to a gigantic height in vague outlines half human and half monstrous, through which I could see the chimney and fireplace beyond.
There we go, that's the one.
It was all eyes, wolfish and mocking, and the rugose insect-like head dissolved at the top to a thin stream of mist. They say I saw this thing, but it is only in conscious retrospection that I have ever definitely traced its damnable approach to form. At the time it was to me only a seething, dimly phosphorescent cloud of fungus loathsomeness, enveloping and dissolving to an abhorrent plasticity, the one object which all my attention was focused. That object was my uncle, the venerable Elihu Whipple, who with blackening and decaying features leered and gibbered at me, and reached out dripping claws to rend me in the fury which the horror had brought.
Wow. This game is very... It's also very, like, I can't think of the word for it, but it's very, like... Very much like an audio novel type thing, but very, very good imagery. And these, I have to ask, like, when these pop up, like, when these pillars pop up, because there were these, the round pillars there, they weren't broken over or anything, they weren't there before.
In that dim blend of blue and yellow, the form of my uncle had commenced a nauseous liquefaction whose essence eludes all description, and in which there played across his vanishing face such changes of identity as only madness can conceive. He was at once a devil and a multitude, a charnel house and a pageant. Lit by the mixed and uncertain beams, the gelatinous face assumed a dozen, a score, 100 aspects, grinning as it sank to the ground on a body that melted like tallow, in the caricatured likeness of legions strange and yet not strange.
So, I know a lot of people probably wouldn't like this, wouldn't enjoy this as much as I am, but, it's a very stylistic game, and it's very creative with the, audio
The
passages.
rest is shadowy and monstrous. There was no one in the world I dared tell. Gray dawn unfolded wetly from the east, silhouetting the archaic hill, beckoning me to the place where my terrible work was still unfinished.
I'm not done yet!
My mind was made up, and taking my hat, I set out from home, where I bathed, ate, and gave by telephone an order for a pickaxe, spade, a military gas mask, and 6 carboys of sulfuric acid, all to be delivered the next morning at the cellar door.
There's another one!
House.
No! I'm not done! I'm not done!
At 11 a.m. the next day I commenced digging. It was sunny weather and I was glad of it. I was still alone, for as much as I feared the unknown horror I sought, there was more fear in the thought of telling anybody. My hands shook perceptibly, but still I delved after a while, standing in a large hole I had made. The deepening of the hole, which is about 6 feet square, increased when I lost all doubt of imminent contact with the hellish thing whose emanations had cursed the house for over a century and a half. I wondered what it would look like, what its form and substance would be, and how big it might have waxed through long ages of life-sucking. Suddenly, my spade struck something soft in my ear. I shuddered and made a motion as if to climb out of the hole, which was now as deep as my neck.
No, please, don't take me! Don't take me yet! I want to know! I want to know the story! I want to know more story! Please! Please! Holy crap, that's green! It's weird! Just one more. Just let me get one more, please! Please!
The surface I uncovered was fishy and glassy, a kind of semi-putrid congealed jelly which suggestions of translucency. The surface I uncovered was fishy and glassy, a kind of semi-putrid congealed jelly with suggestions of translucency. I scraped further and saw that it had formed. There was a rift where part of the substance was folded over. The exposed area was huge and roughly cylindrical, like a mammoth blue-white stovepipe doubled in 2.
Hey, one of those!
Its largest part some 2 feet in diameter. Still more I scraped, and then abruptly I leapt out of the hole and away from the filthy thing. Frantically I'm stopping and tilting the heavy carboys and precipitating the corrosive contents one after another down the charnel gulf and upon the unthinkable abnormality whose Titan elbow I had seen.
Whoa. So this is getting a lot more intense. The imagery on the screen, there's the yellow glow, and it's basically, I feel like I'm being abducted. The music is getting, oh god, no! No, please! No! There's one more! I forgot one! No! No! Oh my god! And there it goes. Yeah, the stories were by H.P. Lovecraft. You could frickin' tell. So, the game is by Connor Sherlock, I guess. I recommend everybody absolutely download this, play through it. I'm probably going to be doing more videos for each color pillar. One for blue, one for red, one for white. That was yellow. I'm sorry I could not get to the end of yellow. I guess I was too busy admiring the game. But, I thoroughly enjoyed that. That was really good. I really enjoyed that. So thank you all so much for watching. As always, rate, comment, subscribe, tell your friends about me. The link to the game is in the description, by the way. Definitely play it. Just give it a chance. It's really good. And as always, I'm SquishyTheTitan, and I will see you in whatever I decide to do next. Bye, guys.